Discover the incredible journey of honesty and discipline. 5 life-changing lessons revealed. Every morning, Claire rose before the sun, her heart a mix of determination and worry. The echo of her children's laughter hung in the air as she shuffled between the crumbling walls of the house her father had fought for. Each peeling paint and creaky floorboard whispered stories of battle, not just in war but of daily survival. She poured her energy into 2 jobs, baking at Mabel's bakery and cleaning houses, trying to restore not just her family home but also her kids' dreams in a town that whispered behind their backs. As the sun climbed higher, Claire walked beside her children, Ryan and Lily, to school. The concrete sidewalks felt like a tightrope. Each glance from passing classmates was a jab at their fragile confidence. "They think we're just the less fortunate," Ryan told her one day, his voice heavy. His words weighed on Claire, a reminder of the world they lived in, one that judged without understanding. She wished they could see more than the faded clothes and worn shoes. Then the day came when Ryan, fueled by a newfound courage, decided to stand up for a bullied classmate. Claire figured it was a moment she'd be proud of, but the aftermath rocked their world. Ryan walked home, head down, shoulders slumped, bruises not just on his skin but etched deep in his heart. "Mom, I tried to help, but now they think I'm a loser," he said, tears pooling in his eyes. Claire felt her stomach knot. His pain mirrored her own. As summer approached, the smell of fried food filled the air with the excitement of the town fair. But beneath that joy was a worry that tangled with Claire's heart. Mabel's bakery was struggling, and the thought of losing it hit too close to home. "This bakery is our town," she whispered to herself, determined to fight for it. Her hands habiting more of the past, she reached out for support, trying to stitch the community together, revealing the underlying pride of the neighborhood. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." Days turned to a blur as Claire rallied her neighbors, knocking on doors and sharing ideas. But as the fair neared, doubt crept in. Would they listen, or would the whispers of judgment drown her out? "Don't worry, Mom," Ryan said one evening. "We'll show them who we really are." Her heart swelled with pride, yet fear gnawed at her. As Claire prepared for the fair, Ryan faced more taunts, and their late-night talks became raw moments of clarity. "Mom, do we care what they think?" he asked, hope dancing in his voice. "Maybe showing them we're strong is what really matters." With Claire standing in the heart of the town square on fair day, anticipation and dread clashed inside her. The crowd buzzed, laughter mingling with the smell of funnel cakes. But just ahead, her moment of truth twisted her stomach in knots. In that very instant, she knew the question loomed large. Was this her chance to reveal their strength, to confront the whispers, or were they destined to remain in the shadows? The answer could change everything for her family and their place in the community. The fairgrounds buzzed like a hive of activity, vibrant and chaotic. Claire took a deep breath, adjusting her apron as she stepped up to the booth where they had set up a small display of pastries and treats. The colorful banners flapped lightly in the warm breeze, inviting smiles and curious looks. Children darted past, their faces painted with joy, but Claire's mind raced with worry. Would her neighbors see what Mabel's bakery really represented? "Mom, look at that!" Lily tugged at Claire's sleeve, pointing excitedly at the carousel spinning in the distance. The laughter of kids echoed, but Claire shook her head, focusing on her booth. "We need to make sure everyone tries our goodies first," she replied lightly, though her heart felt heavy. She arranged the cookies and cupcakes, each one a piece of her heart poured into the batter. Glancing at Ryan, she saw him hovering near the edge of the crowd, quietly observing. Watching him made Claire's heart ache. "We're a team," she reminded herself, pushing aside her doubts. As the evening sun dipped lower, the golden light cast a warm glow over the fair. The line in front of Claire's booth began to grow, filled with familiar faces, neighbors who had once watched their family struggle, now standing before them eager to taste what they had to offer. Claire's pride stirred, but she couldn't shake the shadow of fear. Would they embrace the bakery, or was it too little, too late? "Hey, Mrs. Baker, you should try adding some chocolate to those," a voice called out, breaking her reverie. It was Steve, a local teen. His teasing tone was familiar, yet Claire noticed the kindness behind it. "He's just joking," she reassured herself, eyeing the older kids as they grouped closer, whispering amongst each other. Just then, Ryan stepped into view, standing taller than Claire remembered, his eyes bright with fight. "You guys should stop wasting time there and come support my mom," he called out to the boys huddled nearby. Stunned silence followed as they looked at him, caught off guard. Claire's heart raced. Was this the moment Ryan would redeem himself? A slow smile crept across Steve's face, and he shrugged. "All right, let us see what you've got then," he said, stepping forward to grab a cupcake. To Claire's surprise, the others began to follow suit, laughing and joking with Ryan, breaking the tension that had hung thick in the air. "Delicious!" Steve exclaimed with a mouthful, his friends nodding in agreement. Ryan beamed at his mother, and Claire felt a fresh wave of hope wash over her like summer rain. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted as a loud commotion erupted from the far end of the fairgrounds. Claire turned to see a small crowd gathering, voices rising up in alarm. "A fight?" Panic coursed through her. The joy of the evening shattered in an instant. "Mom, I'll go check it out," Ryan said, determination igniting in his eyes. "Stay here, I'll be back." He dashed away before Claire could grasp his arm. "Ryan, wait!" she called after him, but he was already lost in the crowd. Fear clenched her heart. What would happen if he found trouble again? As she watched him go, a deep breath escaped her lips. This was not how she envisioned this night. An internal struggle twisted inside her to let him face fears or to run after him and shield him from harm. She wanted to shout for him to come back, to keep him safe, but one look at the faces around her, hesitant yet curious, made her pause. Would she cling to her fears and keep Ryan safe, or would she let them both face the challenges ahead? The night felt darker somehow, the laughter and lights now echoing hollow. Claire had to decide soon. Would she risk everything for a chance at healing and connection for her family and the people of the town? Claire stood frozen, her heart pounding as she scanned the thrumming crowd. She could feel the laughter of the fair slipping away, replaced by the faint sounds of chaos where Ryan had rushed. Every instinct in her screamed to follow him, to ensure he didn't stray into danger. But the faces of her neighbors, so full of hope and expectation, anchored her to the spot. "Mom," Lily's tiny voice broke through her turmoil. "Is Ryan going to be okay?" Claire knelt down, forcing a smile even though fear clawed at her insides. "Of course he is, honey. He's just checking things out." But deep down, Claire wasn't convinced. Ryan had fought battles before with himself, with the world, and though he was stronger now, she wondered if it was enough. Before she could respond further, a thunderous cheer erupted from the direction Ryan had gone. Curiosity battled with dread, and Claire couldn't resist taking a step closer to the crowd. As she moved, she felt the cool evening breeze against her cheeks, a reminder of the warmth they had shared just moments prior. With every step, she heard more shouts, laughter punctured by gasps. "What is happening?" Claire asked a nearby mother, her voice tinged with urgency. "It's a wrestling bout," the woman replied, excitement flickering in her eyes. Ryan's facing off against Steve. Claire's heart sank and soared simultaneously. Tension between the two boys had always danced on the edge of rivalry, and now here they were, fueled by pride and the spirit of the fair. She pushed her way through the gathering crowd, adrenaline urging her on. When she finally reached the front, Claire took a breath that felt like it might shatter her chest. The makeshift ring, a circle drawn in chalk on the ground, surrounded by enthusiastic onlookers, showcased Ryan and Steve, both boys poised and ready. The camaraderie from moments before was replaced with a fierce challenge. "Come on, Ryan!" He heard her own voice urge him, even as her heart wrestled with the idea of her son throwing himself into a fight again. Steve lunged first, but Ryan dodged with surprising agility, a smile breaking across his face as he twirled out of reach. The crowd gasped and then erupted in cheers. Claire couldn't help but smile, pride swelling in her chest despite the fear curled tightly in her stomach. As they wrestled, Claire watched Ryan's confidence bloom. His laughter intertwined with Steve's playful taunts, and for a moment, the world around them faded away. This wasn't the trouble she feared, this was a moment of growth, a display of resilience she had desperately hoped for. Then, without warning, as if a switch had flipped, Steve got Ryan in a half-Nelson hold. The crowd went wild, screams of encouragement chorusing around them. Claire's heart raced again, but she couldn't look away. She felt Lily squeeze her hand, a silent echo of the anxiety swirling in the air. "Get him, Ryan! You've got this!" Claire shouted, her voice lost among the cheers. And just like that, Ryan twisted free, using the momentum to bring Steve down with a deft maneuver. Laughter turned into disbelief as the crowd erupted. Ryan's face lit up with triumph, and in that moment, Claire understood. He was not just fighting against Steve, he was confronting everything that had held him back. As they both stood there, panting and grinning, Claire realized this was the moment she had waited for. Yet, just as she thought victory had been snatched from the jaws of defeat, she noticed something fall, a small object glinting in the cool night air. Ryan turned towards it, and Claire's heart dropped when she recognized the object for what it was: a flyer, crumpled yet familiar. It was an advertisement announcing a new development project in town, the contentious one that had threatened Mabel's bakery and their dreams. Suddenly, the weight of the evening, the laughter, the tension, and the shadows of doubt flooded back. Claire felt her stomach twist. Would Ryan confront this new reality head-on, or would fear dampen the spark of growth she had witnessed? As the crowd continued celebrating, Claire's thoughts spun around the challenges still ahead. What if this was only the beginning? Would they be ready for the storm that loomed just on the horizon? The excitement of the wrestling bout faded into a distant murmur as the flyer fluttered to the ground between Ryan and Steve. Claire felt her breath hitch, the joy quickly replaced by an overwhelming heaviness. While the boys basked in their moment of victory, the looming reality of the development project clawed at her thoughts. "Mom, look!" Lily pointed, her innocence piercing through Claire's swirling worries. "Did Ryan win?" "Yes, he did," Claire managed to say, though her voice felt distant, as if she were watching the scene unfold from far away. She couldn't shake the tension clenching her heart. The very thing that threatened their home and all they held dear had just made an appearance at the worst possible time. As Ryan and Steve basked in the cheers, Claire felt the weight of her own worries. She had always encouraged her son to be brave, to embrace challenges head-on. Would this be another one of those moments, or would the stakes now feel too high for him? "Let us go congratulate him," Claire suggested, her resolve hardening. She grabbed Lily's hand, squeezing it gently. They made their way over, forcing smiles even as anxiety twisted in Claire's gut. As they reached the boys, Claire took a breath and cheered, "Great job out there, Ryan. You really showed what you're made of." Ryan turned, his smile radiant, but Claire's heart sank when she saw the flyer still lying there, hauntingly unclaimed. "Thanks, Mom!" he exclaimed, brushing back sweat-drenched hair from his forehead. "Did you see how I flipped Steve? I didn't even think I could do that." "Your moves were incredible," Claire replied, her eyes scanning the remaining crowd. Every excited face reminded her of the potential fallout of that project. "But do you mind if we take a quick look at that?" She gestured towards the flyer, tempted to see what it entailed. "What flyer?" Ryan asked, brows furrowing in confusion, and with a wave of his hand, he beckoned to his friends, who quickly began to chatter, sharing stories of the bout. "Over here," she said, kneeling down to pick it up. It felt heavy in her hand, a symbol of the impending changes she had feared for so long. Amidst the jubilant laughter surrounding them, Claire scanned the details: new buildings, new businesses, promises of progress. But what would become of Mabel's bakery? She thought about how vibrant their small community was, filled with places steeped in history and alive with memories. Every bakery treat brought joy, Every corner held laughter. How could change so easily sweep through without regard? "Hey, Mom, look at this!" Ryan shouted, pulling Claire from her thoughts. She saw him collect a few high fives, reveling in the moment. But he seemed unaware that the very spirit of their fair and community might be at risk. "Ryan," she said, biting her tongue against fear, "do you understand what that project could mean for us? For Mabel and everyone else?" His expression faltered for just a moment. "But it's going to be great, right? New stuff means more fun." His optimism stung, and it reminded her of his unblemished belief that things would always work out. "What if it doesn't, Claire whispered, emotion creeping into her voice. The weight of responsibility lay heavily on her shoulders. She wanted to protect him from the harsh realities of life. "What if it changes everything about who we are?" Ryan regarded her, confusion clouding his youthful features. He hadn't seen her worry like this before. He was just a boy, after all, who had fought bravely moments before. Would he have the courage to see this new fight for what it truly was? Or would he push it away like every other challenge that scared him? Claire's heart wrestled with hope and fear as she reached out for Ryan to follow. Maybe together, they could face this head on. They could rally those in their community, find a way to start a conversation. "Let us talk to Mabel tomorrow," she finally said softly, feeling stronger at the thought. "We'll figure this out together." But just as they began to walk away, the rumble of laughter and pride filled the air once more. Claire turned back to the crowd, caught in a whirlwind of joy and worries. The night was still young, yet shadows stretched long and dark as inevitable change loomed closer. Could they face the storm together? The thought niggled at her. The fair was just a celebration tonight. It felt more profound, a precursor to something spiraling out of control. As they moved away from the ring, Claire felt Lily's hand slip from hers. She looked back, worried, but Lily's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Can I go play with the other kids?" she asked, hopeful. Ryan's laughter echoed in her ears, but in the midst of this vibrant scene, Claire felt a flicker of doubt. Would they be able to protect the life they loved? Or would they be entangled in a battle they didn't see coming? As a sudden gust of wind whispered through the night, Claire's heart raced with an uneasy anticipation. They were on a precipice, and she felt the ground shifting beneath them. Could they truly make their stand? Or was this a fight neither of them were ready for? The fair lights twinkled like stars, but a heavy tension loomed as shadows merged with the night. Claire took a deep breath, taking in the festival around her, the warmth of laughter brushing lightly against her skin. Yet the chill in her heart wouldn't fade. Her gaze drifted toward the distant string lights, casting a soft glow over the gathering crowd. It was all supposed to be perfect, the end of summer fair with its spinning rides and tempting treats, but tonight felt like a thin veneer over something darker. "Sure, go ahead," she said to Lily, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. "Just stay where I can see you, okay?" The little girl squealed and dashed off into the throng of children, her giggles a dagger to Claire's heart. Each laugh reminded her of the innocence that could be snatched away so easily. "Let us grab some cotton candy," Ryan said, his eyes sparkling with youthful excitement. He tugged at her sleeve. The worry etched on Claire's face must have shown, as Ryan hesitated, his smile dimming. "Mom? Are you okay?" "Just tired, honey," she lied, forcing a smile for his sake. The truth felt too heavy to lay upon his shoulders. As they walked toward the brightly lit stand, Claire glanced at the flyer clenched in her hand. It wouldn't leave her. The vibrant colors seemed to mock her, promising a future that felt so uncertain, so unwelcome. "Do you think we can convince Mabel to stay?" Claire asked, the questions slipping from her lips. Ryan was focused on the wobbly line of kids eagerly with their hands outstretched for sugary treats. "Of course. Mabel loves us," Ryan exclaimed, spinning on his heel to give her a confident nod. "We just have to show her how much everyone needs her bakery." There was something in his tone that ignited a flicker of courage within her, even as the knot in her stomach tightened. Mabel's bakery wasn't just a business, it was stitched into the very fabric of their lives, memories made over frosted cupcakes and fresh loaves. Could they really make a difference? What about all those other businesses? Claire hesitated, her voice barely a whisper. They'll need a voice too. Ryan shrugged, his optimism infectious. I'm sure once we get started, everyone will join in. People care about this place. His enthusiasm grew as they approached the cotton candy booth. Just like wrestling. If we show up and make some noise, they'll listen. His words hung in the air, bright and bold. The earnest belief that they could rally the community made her heart swell with a mix of pride and apprehension. It was one thing for children to fight against their fears. It was another thing for adults, tangled in responsibilities, to step up against something so formidable. As they waited in line, Ryan chatted with a friend who strolled by, leaving Claire behind in a sea of thoughts. She could hear the muffled voice telling tales of the bout, victoriously recounting highlights, while Claire drifted further into a whirlpool of reflection. This project wasn't just about new buildings. It was about preserving the soul of the warmth that filled their town. Mom! Look! Ryan's voice pulled her from her reverie. He was bouncing on the balls of his feet, cotton candy in hand, as he beamed with pride. This is the best night ever! Joy flooded through her, pulling back some of the shadows. It really is, isn't it? She replied, but the edge of worry still lingered. Can we try to get more kids to help us make posters tomorrow? He asked, eyes radiant. Absolutely, Claire said, a newfound determination rising in her chest. Maybe they could rally the kids first. Inspire them to rally their parents. In a rush, she realized that if they ignited that flame early on, it could grow. Mom, look at those lights. It's like they're stars, Ryan said, pointing upward, his expression filled with awe. Yes, almost like wishes, Claire mused quietly, her thoughts drifting again. But their dreams required more than wishes. They needed unity. As the night deepened, the lively fair drew in families, laughter blending into the music around them. Claire watched, strength building a little more with each passing moment. Maybe this could work. Perhaps they could protect what they loved with the sheer will of their community. But a small voice in her head whispered doubts. Mom, wanna ride the Ferris wheel? Ryan's enthusiastic voice spun her back to reality. Maybe later, she replied, unable to shake the feeling that their time was running out. As they walked away from the booth, Claire didn't notice the two shadowy figures emerging from the edge of the fairgrounds. They lurked in the background, and her instincts prickled. The world felt like it was growing smaller, the stakes increasing. What could these figures mean for her family's quest ahead? Was this just the beginning of a battle they hadn't yet prepared for? The thrill of the fair mixed with anxiety, as a thick tension began to coat the air. Would the voices of her community rise up to protect their home? The night felt alive, but danger lurked just beyond the joy. Claire's heart raced as she spotted the shadowy figures again, their presence knitting together a web of unease around her. They lingered at the boundary of the fair, their intentions hidden in dark hoods that swallowed the dim light. Was she imagining things? That nagging feeling twisted inside her. Mom, look over there. Ryan's innocent call shattered her anxious thoughts, and she glanced back toward the cotton candy booth, where Lily was waving, her smile wide and sparkling. Just having fun, Claire called back, forcing herself to focus on her children. But that chill wasn't fading. It wrapped tighter, whispering warnings into her thoughts. Are you ready to ride the Ferris wheel now? Ryan urged, tugging at her hand. His excitement was contagious, but Claire hesitated, glancing again toward the lurking figures. Something felt off. Let us walk around a bit first, okay? She suggested, attempting to keep her voice light. Ryan's face fell momentarily, but he nodded, trusting her judgment. The last thing she wanted was to ruin his fun. Together they strolled through the fair, weaving between the vibrant booths and happy families. The scent of popcorn and fried dough hovered in the air, mingling with the sound of laughter and carnival music. Yet, the joy felt fragile against the growing shadows of doubt. Claire tried to dismiss her anxiety and take in the sights, but it clung to her, heavy and persistent. Mom, can we get some games? Ryan asked, his eyes lighting up at the rings tossed over bottles and darts aimed at balloons. Let us hold off for now, buddy, Claire said, forcing a smile, but it felt strained. Ryan's enthusiasm began to wane as he noticed her distraction. Are you really okay? He asked softly, his concern mirroring her own. Claire crouched down to his level, searching his face for reassurance. She needed to secure his innocence, to allow him to chase his dreams without fear overshadowing them. I'm just thinking about our project, honey, she finally admitted, feeling the weight of their ambitions and the reality they faced. We have to plan and talk to everyone about saving Mabel's place. It's important to me. Why don't we get the others together then? Like, all of them. It'll be huge. His face brightened again. A stand-up meeting. Ryan, that's brilliant. Claire felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. Maybe if they organized the kids, they could drive the adults to act. We could really get people talking about how much this means. But just then, that sinking feeling churned again, and Claire's gaze flicked back to the fair's edge. The figures were gone, but something in their absence heightened her apprehension. Let us head back to Lily, she suggested, an urgency creeping into her voice. Ryan nodded. As they made their way back, the familiar sounds of joy enveloped them. But the shadows of doubt loomed larger, thickening with each step. Once they reached Lily, Claire fell into step beside her daughter, trying to match their energy. But inside, her heart continued to race. The fair was filled with laughter and hope, yet she felt like a puppet on strings waiting for something to snap. Mom, can we have a group hug? Lily asked suddenly, her small arms reaching out. Claire knelt down, and both children enveloped her. That warmth was a balm for her worries, a fleeting moment of safety in an uncertain night. I love you two so much, she whispered, holding them close. Love you too. They both chimed, their voices bright and innocent, a melody of purity against the dark scene surrounding them. Yet, as they stood there, the laughter faded into the background, and an eerie stillness wrapped around them. Claire's instinct screamed at her something was wrong. Then, from across the fairgrounds, she spotted a flicker of movement. The two figures re-emerged, now clearer, standing near the entrance and surveying the crowd like hawks. Her blood ran cold as ice gripped her heart. What were they up to, and why did it feel like they were watching? Ryan, hold Lily's south hand and stay close, she commanded, urgency pressing through her voice. A subtle shift deep within told Claire that this night was about to take a turn one she hadn't anticipated. Could she protect her children from whatever shadows lingered at the edge of the fair? The thrill of the fair now felt dangerously fragile, and Claire didn't know if they had the power to preserve it. But one thing was certain, she wouldn't let fear take hold. The quest to save their town had just begun. Would they be ready to face the looming threats and unite their community in time to protect what mattered most? As fear mingled with determination, Claire knew they needed more than just wishes. Could they spark enough courage in others to confront what lay ahead? Claire gripped her children's hands tighter, the weight of the moment pressing down on her. Everything around them, the twinkling lights, the joyous laughter, the sweet smell of fair treats, felt suffocated by a sense of dread. With each hurried step toward the rides, she scanned the crowd, searching for any sign of the dark figures that haunted her thoughts. Mom, you're squeezing my hand too tight, Ryan whined, his face scrunching up in discomfort. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie, Claire replied, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She knew she had to be strong for them, but every instinct screamed at her to flee this place. A thrilling night at the fair shouldn't feel like an impending storm. Let us go on the Ferris wheel, Mom. Lily chirped, her excitement genuine, a stark contrast to Claire's growing fears. Claire hesitated, looking toward where the figures had been, but she couldn't say no to Lily's bright face. All right, the Ferris wheel it is, Claire replied, her voice quivering but steady. As the three of them approached the ride, Claire tried to focus on the colors, the brightness, the laughter of the people waiting in line. It should have been a safe moment. But as they climbed into their seat high above the fairgrounds, Claire felt the thrill evaporate. The world below shrank, and as the wheel slowly turned, the music faded into a distant hum. All she could hear was the thumping of her heart. Look at how high we are! Ryan exclaimed, his fear replaced by exhilaration. He leaned over the edge, eyes wide with wonder. Be careful! Claire exclaimed, her voice sharp. She caught a glimpse of those shadows again, darting through the crowd below. They shifted, merging with the fairgoers, a ghostly presence lurking in the revelry. Mom, what's wrong? Ryan asked, concern etched on his innocent face. It's nothing, really, Claire managed to say. She wanted to shield her children from the anxiety gnawing at her, but the truth loomed larger. Nothing about the night felt right. As they descended, she spotted a man with a dark hoodie, standing alone, his eyes scanning as if searching for someone. Claire's heart thudded in her chest. She recalled the whispers among neighbors about strange happenings near the park. Why was the fair suddenly tainted by shadows? When they disembarked, she grabbed Ryan's and Lily's hands again, determined to keep them close. They headed toward the brightly lit booths, the very essence of happiness still vibrant, but it felt like an illusion. Let us find something fun to do, Claire said, her voice brimming with forced enthusiasm. She noticed a group of children gathered near a game booth, playful shouting ringing out. As they wandered closer, she spotted familiar faces, Nina, Theo, and a couple of others from the neighborhood. Hey, Claire! Nina called out, waving. You should join us for the ring toss. Winner gets a stuffed bear. Claire's heart warmed at the sight of their smiles, how they played without fear. For a moment, normalcy filled her. That sounds great, she replied, trying to shake off her unease. But as they approached, a crowed man with a dark coat brushed past them. Something about his demeanor sent a chill through Claire. He glanced back over his shoulder, eyes narrowing at her and her kids. A flash of something cold passed between them, recognition, maybe fear. Claire? Nina's voice snapped her back to the moment. Are you okay? I'm fine. Just a little tired, I think, she replied, forcing a smile. But deep inside, a danger loomed closer, like a shadow that won't shake. Would she find a way to gather her community before it was too late? Could they unite against whatever threat lay beneath the surface of their joyful celebration? Claire looked down to her children. Their happiness ignited a spark of bravery within her. She had to rally the energy and spirit they needed. Tonight is about all of us together, Claire said, more to herself than anyone else. No shadows can take that from us. But just then, the dark figure reappeared at the edge of the crowd, lingering like a storm cloud ready to unleash. What secrets lay tangled in the shadows, and how much longer could she hold on to hope before the peace shattered? Claire's heart raced as the dark figure melted into the throng of joyous fairgoers. She felt the dangerous edge creeping back in, squeezing her chest. With Lily tugging at her arm, eager and hopeful, and Ryan tapping his foot impatiently, Claire fought to swallow her unease. She couldn't let fear rob her children of a beautiful night. Let us play the ring toss, Lily said, her voice bubbling with enthusiasm. Claire looked at her daughter's bright eyes and knew she couldn't say no, not again. Okay. Let us do it. As they moved toward the booth, Claire plastered on a smile, forcing her mind away from the dark figure. Around her, children screeched with delight as they won prizes, their laughter drifting like music. The vibrant colors blurred into a haze as she attempted to focus on her kids. The closer they got to the ring toss, the more Claire felt the weight of the community surrounding her. In a way, it felt warm. Nina laughed as she tossed the ring and landed it perfectly on a bottle, cheering as a stuffed dinosaur was handed her way. See, it's all about luck, she exclaimed to Ryan, who watched with wide-eyed wonder. You can do it too. Go ahead, buddy, Claire encouraged, nudging him forward. Ryan dared to step up, tall and ready, but as he picked up a ring, Claire's gaze flicked back to the dark figure. He was still there, watching, waiting. Her stomach twisted. Mom? Ryan's small voice broke her focus. Can I try? Of course. Claire forced her voice to be steady. She stepped back slightly, hoping to divert attention from the looming threat while her son played. Ryan's first ring clattered to the side. Ugh! He pouted. Don't give up, Claire said, her heart aching at the sight of his disappointment. She knelt down to his level. "It's okay, buddy. Just like with life, sometimes we miss on the first try, but we keep going." Ryan smiled brightly, and with renewed determination, he tossed again. This time, the ring settled around the bottle. "Yay!" Lily squealed as Ryan jumped up and down. For a split second, Claire felt like they were all just a family at the fair. But that fleeting happiness flickered when her eyes caught the figure again. He was closer now, blending in but undeniably fixed on her. "Mom, did you see that?" Ryan's voice pulled her back. He shouted with joy as a stuffed bear was handed to him. "I won!" "Yes, you did!" Claire hugged him tightly, but her heart felt heavy. The shadows loomed again, dimming the glow of the festival lights. She turned her head, glancing at the crowd, and her breath caught in her throat. The figure had traded his solitary post for movement, now weaving through booths, almost hunting, as if searching for something. Claire felt panic rising within her, urging her to act. "Let us go, kids," Claire said, panic bubbling just beneath her facade. "How about some cotton candy next?" Lily and Ryan, oblivious to the brewing storm, cheered and ran ahead. But Claire lingered, her gaze searching for that threatening presence. It seemed to vanish only to reappear on the fringes of her vision. The air felt electric, heavy with unsaid things. Just as she started to chase after her children, she felt a hand touch her arm. She turned sharply, her heart pounding. It was Nina. "Did you see that guy?" Nina whispered, her tone laced with urgency. Claire nodded, her stomach dropping. "Let us stay together." With renewed purpose, they now walked as a unit, Claire's heart still heavy with the fear creeping closer. If they could just make it through the fair, she could protect her kids. But as the ringing transformation of laughter echoed around them, could she draw together the strength of the community in the face of encroaching shadows? Behind them, the dark figure watched, a predator in the night. What would happen if they had to confront the danger head-on? Claire's heart raced with uncertainty. As they moved deeper into the fair, Claire's instincts screamed at her to keep her children close. The laughter, the bright lights, and the smell of popcorn filled the air, creating a stark contrast to the oppressive tension that wound around her like a thick fog. "Mom! Look at the giant slide!" Lily cried, pointing excitedly. Ryan's eyes sparkled, igniting with the kind of joyful anticipation only a child could possess. Claire was torn. She wanted to indulge in their happiness, to join them in their innocence, but the figure loomed in her mind, a shadow that threatened to overtake the spark of joy in her children's eyes. "Maybe later," she said, forcing a smile. "Let us find that cotton candy first." As they turned toward another booth, Claire felt Nina's hand slip into hers. "I don't like that guy," Nina murmured, her voice so low that only Claire could hear. "It gives me the creeps." "Me too," Claire admitted, squeezing Nina's hand tighter. The comfort of connection offered some relief, but the nagging fear still gnawed at her. They hurried past booths, the scent of caramel apples mingling with the rustle of vendor chatter. Claire glanced over her shoulder every few seconds, half expecting the dark figure to emerge from the chaos. But nothing followed them, at least not that she could see. Finally, they reached the cotton candy stand, the soft pink fluff spinning in the machine like a sweet whirlwind. Lily's eyes lit up. "Can I get some, Mom?" "Absolutely," Claire replied, her voice shaky but cheerful. She ordered 3 cones, thinking perhaps a little sugar might bring back the lightness she craved. Each child received one, dripping with color and sugar, their faces lighting up in true delight. But still, Claire's heart raced, not from the sugar high but from a sense of impending dread. She scanned the crowd until she spotted the unmistakable silhouette again, lurking behind a group of teenagers. He was watching, waiting, and this time, it felt personal. "Can we sit over there, Mom?" Ryan pointed to a bench not far from the booth. The fair buzzed around them, and for the first time, Claire saw a sliver of peace, a moment where they could breathe as a family. "Sure, let us rest for a bit," Claire said, urging her children toward the bench. As they sank into the wooden seats, laughter and music enveloped them, but Claire couldn't shake that prickling awareness on the back of her neck. What's wrong? You look worried, Nina asked, her brow furrowed with concern. It's nothing, Claire replied, quickly masking her anxiety with a smile. She didn't want to frighten the kids. Just a long day, I guess. They began to enjoy their cotton candy, and Claire tried to focus on the sweetness of the moment. But the euphoria was cut short as she noticed the figure moving again, this time slipping into a row of booths ahead, completely focused on them. Kids, can we move to the next game? Claire suggested, practically standing up as she felt the weight of his gaze. Just one more minute, Ryan pleaded, sticking out his bottom lip. Claire's heart ached for his joy, but the urgency in her gut only grew. Before she could respond, a commotion erupted to their right. Claire turned, her heart skimming across a wave of panic. A cluster of kids was screaming, a fallen carnival worker trying to gather an array of dropped prizes. The figure shifted, pushing past the crowd with purpose, his intentions unclear but undeniably menacing. Let us go, kids! Claire called urgently, grabbing their hands. She looked back once as she hurried away, her chest constricting. That's when she saw him stop, a glint of something metallic flashing in the low light. What was he hiding? Claire's breath quickened as she felt the threat lurking just behind them, closer than ever. Would they be able to escape the fair unscathed? With each step she took, a nagging thought crept into her mind. What was she missing? What if she was about to find out? The fair felt like a world of colors and sounds, yet for Claire, it had morphed into a shadowy stage for fear and uncertainty. She held on to Ryan and Lily tight, the sweet cotton candy melting in her fingers as they all moved, drawn by the rush of excitement and the pulse of the crowd. We need to organize, to stand together, she thought, feeling more than ever that Mabel's bakery represented not just a business, but the spirit of this community. As they kept walking, Claire glanced at Ryan, who was fully absorbed in recounting his victory from the ring toss. His laughter echoed around her, and Lily was bouncing with joy, twirling her new stuffed bear. Despite the dread gnawing at Claire, she felt a flicker of warmth at their happiness. We're going to do this, she promised herself, the determination burrowing its way to the forefront of her mind. Suddenly, Ryan paused mid-sentence, his gaze fixed somewhere over Claire's shoulder. Mom, is that guy still watching us? Her heart dropped cold. The creeping sensation of being pursued flooded her senses. Just focus on enjoying your night, sweetheart. No one can take that away. Yet the unease deep in her gut told her it was only a matter of time before things escalated. Before she could act, the air erupted with laughter as a nearby booth announced a pie-eating contest. The faces of children and families bursting into cheers flooded her with nostalgia. It drew her children over, and for a moment Claire allowed herself to breathe. Surely this couldn't all be ruined. But that feeling shattered as she noticed the figure again, moving stealthily along the periphery of the fair. Then it happened. A loud shout pierced the air. A nearby vendor had dropped several jars of colorful candies, glass shattering like a chorus of clinking alarm bells. Chaos erupted as everyone turned to the surprise, and amidst the commotion, Claire felt the pressure of clarity hit her like a wave. This is it. With her heart pounding, she grabbed the kids' hands. We are uniting now. They wove through frantic bodies towards the center, moving past the stands brimming with life. Ryan, gather the kids who were at the booth. Lily, you can help too. The power that surged through her felt electric. Within moments, a cluster of children formed around Ryan, each one catching the excitement radiating from Claire. Their faces lit up in confusion and curiosity. What's going on? One of them asked. We're going to protect our community and our bakery, Claire declared, her heart pounding with a newfound strength. Mabel's bakery is a symbol for each of us. It's time we show everyone how important it is. The kids exchanged eager glances, excitement bubbling as they nodded. Let us make signs, Ryan shouted, his voice louder than the bustling fair around them. We can show everyone how much we love Mabel's. In that moment, the darkness she had felt throughout the night began to lift, replaced by a diamond storm of determination and purpose. Let us go, Claire urged, leading the way to a nearby booth where stray papers sat stacked. The children trailed behind her, gathering scraps to create their rally signs. As they started making posters, some scribbled in crayon, others adorned with doodles, Claire turned to look for that guy again. But what she saw shifted her heart again. The fair was alive with families, laughter erupting like rich fireworks into the night. Children were smiling, and she realized that these moments of joy, of community spirit, were worth fighting for. Finally, as Lisa painted a bright message proclaiming "Save our bakery," in joyful swirls of color, Claire felt unwavering hope swelling within her. The fair's lights glimmered brighter, showering her with warmth that felt almost like a hug from the sun. "Is this all really happening?" Ryan asked as he drew a big red heart on his poster. "Yes. This is how we show everyone we care. Together, we have a voice." Claire felt the weight lift as the kids rallied in. "And together, we can fend off whatever fears wait in the shadows." In that moment, she caught sight of the dark figure again, standing at the edge of a nearby booth, but he was met by curious eyes. Families all around began to notice the energetic group rallying behind Claire. Whispers turned into excitement, and finally murmurs into supportive cheers. A small army of children stood united as a contagious wave of courage burgeoned throughout the fair, taking their fears and transforming them into resolve. And Claire was at the helm, eyes bright, spirits soaring. They would face whoever it was watching, but now they'd do it together. "Mom! Look at them!" Lily gestured, her eyes sparkling with newfound pride. Claire looked. The community was shifting around them, accepting, united. "Tonight, we show them how strong we really are," Claire declared, feeling the thrill of empowerment rush through her as she raised her own makeshift sign high. Suddenly, the night sky felt warmer, embers of hope resurrecting in every corner of their fairground. The first step had been taken. Together, they were not just battling for a bakery, they were fighting for the community, for each other, and, most importantly, for a future they deserved. Letting go of her fear and embracing this shift in their shared destiny, Claire felt the shadows retreat. They were ready to face whatever lay ahead. Claire smiled, her heart full as cheers erupted around her. Because together, she whispered to herself, nothing can overshadow the light of a united community. Now, this is the moment for you to take action. If you enjoyed this transformative story, you need to subscribe now to never miss out on the next exclusive adventures. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more amazing fans like you. Comment your reactions and feelings about how this community came together to fight for their dreams. Your thoughts matter. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. Show your support for the channel,